cloud computing and advantages of cloud computing and cloud computing over the physical data center. And I'll cover that identity access management also. Okay, so shall we start with the introduction part? Can you acknowledge me? Am I audible to you guys?
Yeah,
okay. So here you can see that the cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources and applications via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. It means nowadays the cloud computing is very popular, and most of the IT company adopting that cloud computing in their environment. Why? Because you don't need to pay any extra amount or any advance amount for the resource. If you if you accessing any resource, then you have to pay whatever the resource you are accessing from the cloud computing. Okay, and the second thing is the cloud provide rapid access of flexible and low cost IT resource. Okay, so whenever you want to access any of the resource, you can flexibly access, okay, at the same time when you whenever you want to access those contents. Okay, with cloud computing you do not need to make a large upfront investment in hardware and spend a lot of time to managing the hardware. If you are adopting cloud services, then you no need to maintain any team to manage a hardware. Okay, if you go through with the physical server, then you have to manage a team also to manage those hardwares. Okay. Okay, so advantage of cloud computing, why we are using cloud computing nowadays. Okay, so pay as you go and pay only for what you use. It means whatever the resource you are using, you have to pay for that resource only. Okay, the elastic capacity, a scale up and a scale down. It means suppose if you are creating any resource, okay, and if you are accessing any resource from the cloud computing, and if you as and the after some time your business requirement is enhanced. Okay, suppose you have configured one virtual server with 2 CPU, 4 GB RAM and 1 TB hard disk, and after a month or after a week your business requirement is enhanced, and it requires 4 CPU, 16 GB of RAM of hard disk. Okay, in that case you can scale up. It means you can enhance your hardware instantly without affecting your production server. Okay, so it and whenever if you want to scale down, it means your business requirement is completed and now you want to, if you want to decrease that hardware configuration, then easily you can configure. Okay, I'll tell you in EC2 instance how to enhance the hardware configuration or how to scale down the hardware configuration of the server. Okay, and cloud computing provide an easy way to access server, storage, database and broad set of applications services over the internet whenever you want to access, because that cloud computing providing many of the server services. Okay, that if you want to access any network device like switches, router, then you can virtually access. Okay, and database, storage, SAN storage, whatever the services which you are using in physical data center or physical environment, all are provided by the cloud computing provider also. Okay, you can access those services through the internet, because whatever the services you want to access in your environment, you have to connect with the internet. Okay, so by using internet you can access those resources from the cloud. Okay, services can be temporarily taken offline or shut down permanently as business demand dictate. Okay, suppose you have been created one server. Okay, okay, and that server is a demo server for the testing purpose. Okay, after some time that testing is completed, or for the time being that testing has been stopped. Okay, so no developers are testing their code. So in that case you can stop the server for the time period. Okay, and if the testing or if your it means work have been done, then you can permanently terminate that server. Okay, and that resource. Okay, and for that whatever the for the time period of whatever the amount you have used the resource, you have to pay that amount only. Okay, not much more. So these kind of facility or these kind of advantage uh, have when you are go through with the cloud computing. Okay, so there are multiple cloud computing models. Okay, so here we three are mainly that infrastructure as a service, first one, and that platform as a service and software as a service. What is infrastructure as a service, and what is platform as a service, and what is software as a service? Here in this slide you can see that image. Okay, on here I'll tell you one by one. Okay, so on premises, suppose if you are running any IT company, or if you are working in any IT company, and if you want to deploy or if you want to host any website, then you have to maintain these kind of stuff in your environment, like applications. Okay, whatever the application you want to host, data, okay, like database, runtime, middleware, software and operating system, for virtualization and server storage, networking, means router and switches, all kind of stuff you need to be maintained. Okay, and for the for the all kind of stuff you have to maintain a separate team also. For the application you have to maintain one team, for the database you have to maintain a one team. Okay, for the networking device and for the storage service you have to maintain a separate team. So all the work you have to maintain only from yourself only. Okay, so this is very headache. Okay, so when cloud computing is introduced, okay, that providing infrastructure, okay, they providing different type of model as per your requirement you can adopt. Okay, so first one is infrastructure as a services. In infrastructure as a services, in what happened in infrastructure as a services, the cloud provider providing infrastructure, it means you don't need to maintain any hardware. Okay, they providing infrastructure. What you need to do, only you have to maintain your application or database team to deploy your code, your application, or on the it means that cloud server, on cloud platform. Okay, so here you can see that in orange color that in infrastructure as a services, that providing that cloud provider providing infrastructure, it means it providing virtualization, servers, storage and networking. It means these kind of stuff maintained by the cloud provider. Okay, so that no need to maintain a team for these kind of stuff. Only you have to maintain a application team and database team, and whatever the team required for the middleware and operating system, you have to manage these kind of stuff from your side only. And if you are adapting platform as a services, okay, I'll give you the example also for the infrastructure and platform as a services. I'll give you the example also, but for the time being I'm saying that these kind of infrastructure you can adapt as per your business requirement or as per your model. Okay, so the second one is a platform as a services. In platform as a service, what it provide the complete platform with the infrastructure. Okay, what kind of thing you have to maintain? You have to maintain only application or data. It means whatever the application you want to deploy on the server and database. Okay, these kind of stuff you have to maintain. Okay, and all the things provided by the cloud provider, whether server, storage, that runtime, or even operating system, they are maintained by the cloud provider only. So no need to maintain much more team for this. All the services provided by the cloud provider. Okay, you have to maintain only your applications and application, it means your developers, okay, who want to deploy their application code to the server, okay, and the database team. And the third one is a software as a services. It means in software as a services, you don't need to maintain any kind of stuff from your end. All the things are maintained by the service provider. It means that cloud service provider. Here you can see that other manage, it means all the here from on premises and infrastructure as a service, it means you on premises you have to maintain all the things from your end, and infrastructure as a service you have to maintain a few things from your end, and apart from that few thing is maintained by the provider. But if you go through with the platform as a service, you have to also maintain a few things. And if you go through with this service software as a services, it means all kind of stuff maintained by the provider only. Okay, I'll give you the example for the infrastructure as a code. Who provided the infrastructure as a code? AWS providing infrastructure as a code, and Microsoft Azure providing infrastructure as a code. And nowadays we are also using our environment as an infrastructure as a code. Only what happened? Only we are taking the infrastructure. It means hardware, okay, and we are deploying our database or application or whatever we want on that server virtually, okay. So this is the best example of AWS, Microsoft Azure, and platform as a services. It means AWS Elastic Beanstalk, Google App Engine, etc. It means what happen in Elastic Beanstalk, whatever the code you want to deploy on server, you just put it, okay, and that will be managed by the provider only, okay. It's that AWS, Microsoft Azure also providing the platform as a services, okay. So now come to the software as a services. Here you can see that Google App and Dropbox. It means if you managing any email service, okay, simply take a give a request to the cloud computing and put your mail ID, and all the things are maintained by the themselves only, okay. So no need to worry about this. Okay, got the point. Okay, now come to the these things. Understand the reason, availability zone, and its location. Okay, before starting the session, you have to understand what is reason and what is availability zone and what is its location. Okay, so here in definition you can see that a region is a physical location in the world which consists of two or more availability zones. Okay, nowadays AWS is having more than 24 regions around the world. So what is region? A region is a physical location, okay, where it means physical location, it means data center location, okay. Okay, you can say that, because what is availability zone? Here you can see that an availability zone is a one or more data center, okay, each with redundant power, networking, and connectivity. And currently that AWS having 72 availability zone. Why it's combination of two or more availability zone? Because availability zone is nothing but a data center. It is a combination of two or more data center. So why it's combination of two or more data centers? Because suppose I reside in Asia specific in Mumbai, okay, and in my region one data center is Mumbai, one data center is Kerala, okay, and one data center is Chennai, okay. Suppose some natural disaster is happened in Chennai or either Mumbai, or something happened in data center and that data center got down, okay. So in that case other data center is up, and the data can be accessible from the other data center location also, okay. So that's the reason that availability zone is a combination of multiple data center, okay. That is the main thing, okay. So here you see a reason. I can see it, I'll show you 1 second please. Different type of reasons here you can see, okay. So these are the reasons, okay. US is North Virginia, okay. US is Ohio. So these are the reasons, okay. And reason, what is reason? Reason is a combination of two or more availability zone. And what is availability zone? Availability zone is a combination of two or more data center, okay. And what is edge location? That third point is edge location are edge location are endpoint for AWS which are used for caching content. Currently AWS having more than 150 edge location around the world. So what kind of work edge location do? Suppose uh, uh, you are hosting any website, okay, like for iGlance, okay, and someone who want to access your website from US, okay, and your server is located in Asia specific Mumbai, okay. Then what edge location what can do? Edge location hold the copy of your server or copy of your content, okay, in his cache, okay. So that if any user want to access your contents, that he can provide, that he can deliver those contents instantly. So in that cases edge location is required. And nowadays above more than 150 edge location AWS having. We will in detail we can discuss about edge location in detail in cloud CDN. It means cloud delivery network or cloud front, okay. It means content delivery network we have a separate lab or separate class of a cloud front lab. Okay, so in that case, in that time we will discuss about the in detail edge location. Okay, what is that, how edge location is working. Okay, now come to the cloud computing over the physical data center. So what is physical data center? We firstly we need to talk about the physical data center. Physical data center is in-house setup that involves a team of professional IT experts who are involved in running the house professionality. It means data center is a in-house setup of multiple hardwares. Okay, that is a combination of hardware, and that is a managed by the IT professional. Its expert is required for the different type of. If you for the networking you have to maintain one team, for the storage purpose you have to maintain one team, for the power management you have to maintain a one team. Okay, if you go through with the physical data center, the storage capacity of data center is limited. Okay, if you want to increase the data center storage capacity, then you have to give a request to the other team, and then you have to add. That is a very headache work. Okay, but if you go through with the cloud computing, okay, so to begin with is not a physical setup. That cloud computing is not a physical setup, because you are accessing somewhere it is a physical setup, but what cloud computing is doing, it's providing you virtually. So whatever the it means a resource that cloud computing having, it's provided access in accessible format. Whenever you want any kind of resource, then you can simply access through the internet. Okay, cloud service are virtually available. Internet is mandatory access this service. Okay, it is a virtual available. Okay, the storage capacity of a cloud is unlimited. You can scale up whenever you required. So when if you whenever you want to scale up, suppose if you want to if you are having 1 TB of hard disk and you want to increase up to increase you required 500 more 500 GB is required in your environment. You can easily within a moment, so you can scale up your hardware. Okay, and memory capacity. Okay, so these are a kind of things you can do with cloud computing. Okay, and that kind of work is not it is very headache for the physical data center. Okay, so this is a brief intro about the cloud computing and its benefit. Okay, now come to the identity access management. Okay, from here our classes, our lab has been begun. Okay, so tell me brief about the IAM, identity access management. That full form is identity access management. Okay, so what is the main work of identity access management? Okay, so it's allow you to manage and control users group and their level of access in AWS console. Okay, so what IAM is doing, what IAM is providing, it means by using IAM you can manage your user groups. Okay, and their level of access, what kind of resource user can be access, or what kind of resource cannot be accessible from the user. Those kind of things you can manage by using identity access management. Okay, so here you can see that identity access management is a powerful service that give you the ability to control which people and application can access your AWS account at their level, because the root user in an AWS account cannot be limited, because once you create AWS account, okay, it give you one root user. Okay, and that root user having a power to access all kind of resource. Okay, whatever the resource AWS providing, you can be able to access, you can be made changes, you can be access configure. So simply you cannot provide a it's not a good idea to share a root account to everyone. Okay, so as per the team, as per the team, suppose if you have a developer team, tester team, okay, and some security team, so what kind of stuff they require, according to that you can give a you can create a user, IAM user, and you can provide a their kind of resource access only. Okay, so that can be maintained by the identity access management. Okay, so you can create a user okay, here you can say you should set up a IAM users temporary security token for your so people and process and interact with AWS. Okay, so you can manage a security token temporarily also. Okay, so what kind of features? Here I have mentioned that few kind of features. Okay, what features of identity access management? Identity access management provide centralized control of your AWS account. By using IAM, you can manage uh, account, centralized account. Okay, you can manage users group centralizedly. Okay, so what kind of permission you want to give to the group, what kind of permission you want to give a team. Okay, so you can be managed at a center point. Okay, and IAM provide multi-factor authentication. We have a separate lab for the multi-factor authentication. What is multi-factor authentication? Okay, so multi-factor authentication enable you to enhance your security. Okay, so what kind of security you can enhance with the MFA? You can it means it's allow you to update security token with your device. It means you have to install a one application that is called Google Authenticator in your tablet, in your computer, in your mobile phone. Okay, so whenever you are going to log in into the AWS account, then it's generate one code. Okay, in your other device. Okay, so you have to in that time you have to put that code. Because why it's required? Because someone stolen your ID and password. Okay, and yeah, he log in into your account and he made changes. Okay, you don't have the idea of who have taken that ID and password, and if you configure that MFA, then he doesn't even able to log in into your account, because MFA code is that multi-factor authentication code is required. We will do the separate lab for the MFA also. Okay, now the third point, IAM provide temporary access for the user. If you want to give a temporary access for the particular team, particular user, then that kind of stuff is also maintained in identity access management. Okay, and the fourth one is it's allow you to set your own password rotation policy. Okay, so in by using IAM, you can manage password policy, like what type of password can be or cannot be taken. It means suppose that you can mention that if so you can mention that 8 character you have to put for the password, and that alphabet or uppercase is required, some wildcard is required. So that kind of stuff you can maintain in IAM only. Okay, and it's integrated with the different AWS services. Okay, so IAM is integrated with the different kind of services also, and it's provide a one second. Okay, so key terminology of for IAM. One second, please. So key terminology of IAM, identity access management. There are four key terminology of IAM. Users. What is users? User such as a people's, okay, and employee of your organizations. And group is a collection of that users. That is called groups. And what is a policy? Policy is a JSON document that defined one or more permission to interact with AWS resource. JSON is a Java script oriented notation language. Okay, so policies are written in JSON format. Okay, so what is policy? It means what type of access you want to give the group user. By using policy, it can be possible. Okay, suppose there are multiple resources available in AWS. Okay, and if you want to give create a one user, and that can be able to access only EC2 instance, or either S3. S3 is a storage. So that kind of thing you can be able to manage by the policy only. Okay, it's defined what action can or cannot be taken. Okay, you can write your own policies or use one of the managed policy provided by AWS. Use defined permission for user group and rules. Okay, so that policy can be applied on user group and rules. Okay, so you can also manage a customized policy also. We have a separate lab for that also. Okay, how to create a customized policy. Okay, in identity access management lab, we will talk about that thing also. Okay, so now come to the roles. What is roles? Roles are is a package of permission. Okay, you can create a role and assign to AWS resource. Okay, roles are secure way to grant permission, and if you want to switch one account to another, that can be possible from the roles only. Okay, suppose you have been created one EC2 instance. Okay, and you deploy your all applications, okay, on that EC2 instance. Okay, but the thing is that EC2 instance required S3 bucket also to store some data. Okay, in that case, what you need to do? Okay, you can go with the secret key or that advanced secret key. You need to configure a CLI mode onto the it means server. That is very difficult in EC2 that have a separate lab also. But if you can manage a role also, okay, so you can create a role and give a permission that role to the separate S3 and assign that role to the particular instance that can be accessible by okay, that provide that S3 accessibility to that instance. Okay, so by using role you can manage, okay, the resources also. Okay, so lab summary. Okay, in lab we will okay, lab summary. So IAM, what is IAM is a global services. Here you can see that if you creating any identity if any IAM user, that will be work globally. It means any region. Here you can see that it's showing globally. If you go into the EC2 instance, then it's not a globally. Okay, you have to choose one reason. Okay, whether whatever the reason you want to choose. Here I have been selected North Virginia. You have to select any of the reason. But if you configuring IAM user, it's work globally. Okay, it means it you can able to access the contents in either ACI specific Mumbai, okay, US West Ohio, sorry, US East Ohio region, whatever the reason you want to access, that IAM user will be able to access kind of. So here I have been selected US East, okay, North Virginia, because whatever the changes made by the AWS, that firstly reflect in North Virginia only. Okay, so whatever the latest so that's the reason we will work on North Virginia. Okay, so now come to the again slide. Okay, so it is a global service. Okay,
I
when you yes, yeah, tell
actually
me.
I didn't get the role part. Can you explain me again, please?
What?
Roles part. So if we create an IAM in one account, we can
Mm-hmm.
use it on cross accounts.
Yeah, you can use, but for that you have to create a roles also. For that you have to maintain a role. Okay, cross account role, I'll tell you once again, let me show you. If you want to switch one account to another, then by
Mhm.
using IAM role, it can be possible. Okay, so in role section we have a separate lab for that also. Okay, so when you're creating a role, here you can see that, yeah, here that another AWS account, got it. So you have to
So
create a yes.
like let's say create a role is an accessing S3 bucket read access. Is that a role?
No. Suppose you are created one instance is EC2 instance, and you have deployed your server, okay, and you have deployed your application on that server EC2 instance. Okay, and after some time that S3 bucket or some other resource is also required to access that kind of application. In that case, you separately create a one role, okay, and assign the resource to particular role. Okay, that can be when I'll do practical na, then you can better understand. Okay, so we
No.
have a lab for that, just note it down. Okay, and when I am when I'll do that policy lab na, role lab, sorry. So in that time, just tell me if your doubt doesn't clear. Okay,
Okay, sure.
in role
Thank
section, because one by one I'll create group user roles policies. Okay, so in that time just tell me if your doubt doesn't clear. Okay, got the point.
you. Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
Okay, so now come to the come here. Okay, so when you first create AWS account, you begin with the root user. Okay, so identity which has complete access to all AWS services resource. Okay, okay, when you creating new users, they doesn't have any access, you have to provide the access. Okay, so when you create IAM user in AWS account, that having does that doesn't have any access. Okay, so you have to it means add a policy what kind of resource he can that user can be able to access. Okay, so AWS access types need to assign a new user. Okay, okay, when you're creating a user, it create also one access key or secret access key. Okay, so what is access key and secret access key? When you going to configure CLI, it means command line interface. It means you want to access all the AWS resource through the command line. In that time, you need a access key or secret access key to configure AWS command line. Okay, in that time. Okay, so it can be include management console also. Okay, so this is brief introduction about the IAM and cloud computing. Okay, so now come to the lab. So in introduction part, anyone have any doubt? No. Okay, so come to the, this is the dashboard. Okay, so here I have been created one user, one group. Okay, and 21 custom roles, sorry, that 21 roles I have been created, and policy, custom policy, customer policy, it means I have been created 5, and identity provider I haven't created yet. Okay, so now what we I will do, firstly I'll do I'll create one user. Okay, so if you want to create the user, then you have to click on user. Then here two buttons are there. One is disable, because if you select this user, then it will be accessible. Okay, delete this user also. You have to select deleted, delete this group also. I'll create freshly. Okay, so now I have been deleted that user and group also. Okay, now create one user. You can create multiple user. Okay, so no need to worry about that. So click on add user and put it the name of multiple sorry, name of the users, like Ravi. Okay, you can create a multiple user. Okay, for that you have to click on add another user. Here I am not creating, so that is the reason I'm not putting. Okay, so now it's saying what type of access you want to give to Ravi: programmatical access and AWS management access. Programmatical access, it means whether this user can be able to access CLI, that command line from the command line interface. Uh, Also can be sorry, by using programmatical access. Now if you are giving, then the user can be able to access all AWS resource through the command line also. Okay, for that you have to configure AWS CLI mode. Okay, and in that time you need to use access key and secret access key. So here I am giving that programmatical access and AWS one. If you are choosing that programmatical access, then it doesn't ask you any ID password, because when you went into the CLI mode, then you have to put access key and secret access key. But if you choose AWS management console, then here you can see that it's asking for password update. Whether it if you select auto generated, then it will auto generate the password, and if you put your own password, then you can put. So for the demo purpose, I am putting 123456, that password. Okay, here you can see that I have put it 123456. Okay, and here you can see that require password reset. Okay, what do you mean? What it's mean? It means when you firstly log in into that AWS account with this user Ravi, then it will ask you to reset the password. Okay, if you select, then you have to reset the password. If you not select, then it will not ask you to reset the password. Okay, So I have been deselected that one. Okay, next permission. Okay, okay, if you want to give permission, okay, so simply I'm not giving any permission to this user and I'm not adding this user to any group. Okay, it's asking to create because there is no existing group, so that's the reason it's asking to create a group. Here I'm not giving any permission or not giving uh, not adding this user to any group. Next, tag is required because if you create the tag, okay, then you can identify this user where it's belong, whether it's belong to developer team, whether it's belong to security team, whether it's belong to tester team. So you have to maintain a tag also, TEAM team, it's belong to developers team. Okay, so now you can review the your here it's giving the message, okay, notification, this user doesn't have any permission. Okay, so because I haven't provided any permission to this user, so that's the reason it's showing. Okay, so here the name is user. Okay, and AWS access type is a programmatical access and AWS management console access. It means I have been provided both type of access to this customer. Okay, and console password is custom. Okay, no need to reset. We have been put in that password only. Okay, and password boundary is not set. Okay, so here the tag create user. Okay, here you can see that one user has been created. This is a access key, and if you click on here, this is a secret access key. When you close it now, then secret access will be deleted. So for that purpose, you need to download that CSV. It will download, okay, that store your access key and secret access key. Okay, so I'm not configuring CLI mode. I'll configure CLI mode in EC2 okay, so lab. So for the time being, I'm just closing this. Okay, so here you can see that Ravi user has been created. Okay, now okay, now with this user, okay, now I'm just logging into okay, let me tell you something also. So this is the Ravi. When you click on Ravi, then it comes here. Okay, so in permission section, okay, here you can see that user ARN, Amazon resource number. Okay, it's required when you configuring the custom policy. Okay, and when you, okay, so that ARN number is required. Okay, this is the account number for this user. Okay, this is the path and this is the date and time when you have created this user. And here you can see that permission section, it's showing there is no permission. So right now I haven't provided any permissions. Okay, and group, we haven't created and added this user to into any group. Okay, so in tag section I have been tagged one tag team developers. So you can identify this user belongs to the developers team. Okay, in security credential, when you come to the security credential, this is summary. By using this link, okay, you can directly this link directly provide you the console login page. Okay, let me use another browser. Here you can see that it's directly brings you at the login page. Okay, this is a 12 digit your account number. You have to put username and you have to put password that you can able to log in into that I am user. So this is the link. Okay, and if you want to reset or manage a password, then you can manage from here. Okay, when you click on manage now, then you can able to manage the password. Okay, assigned MFA. So right now I haven't assigned any MFA. It means multi-factor authentication. Okay, so these are the things. access advisor, nothing. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just logging into this user. Okay, so the username is Ravi. Okay, you have to put name Ravi and password. I have been put it 123456. Sign in. So still we haven't provided any kind of permission. So just see that whether this user able to do anything or not. Okay, suppose you have been logging into this that AWS console because we have been provided. Suppose if we want to see EC2 instance, it is displaying or not. Click on instances. Okay, no, nothing is showing because we haven't provided any access. It means in root account, here you can see that in root account, we have a multiple instance right now in it is in a stop condition. Let me show you. Okay, there are three instances, there are three server, but it's in a stop condition. It's showing in root account, but if you are logging into the Ravi user, it's not showing any instances. Why? Because I haven't provided any access to this user, so that's the reason it's not showing. So now what we will do, what we I'll provide permission. I'll assign permission W. Okay, so here you can add a permission. Click add a permission. Okay, so you can create a group also if you add this user into a group. Okay, so whatever the permission you give to the group, that will be inherit to that user also. Okay, so here I am just I haven't created any user, so I'm not existing a user. So I'm attaching a policy. So what kind of policy I need to do? I am just providing EC2 full access. Okay. So one second, let me tell you that about the policy also. Okay, in policy section I'll tell you. So EC2 full access, here you can see that I'm providing EC2 full access. Okay, so in this case,
Speaker, I'm unable to see your screen. The screen got stuck.
now it's now are you able to see?
No,
No,
like we can see, but it got stopped in EC2 page itself.
itself. Okay, okay, let me check. Internet connectivity is good. Are you able to see my screen now?
That got struck.
It's got a stuck. Stuck. Connectivity is also good. Okay, let me reload.
Can you try to disconnect and connect again? Or
Yes, 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 I'm doing that thing only. 1 second.
ఏంటప్ప సంగతిలో
Hello.
బాబాయ్ డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడుగు. స్పీడ్ గా వెళ్తుంటే
షూర్ పక్కాడు.
yeah, I think we can see.
We are not able to hear you.
Uh, can you hear me now? Am I
Yes.
audible to you? Okay.
Yes, yes.
1 second. 1 second. So again, I am okay. So click on user. Okay, Ravi, and now I am just providing access of EC2 instance. Okay, so add permission. Okay, so for the time being, I'm not adding this user to any group. Okay, and I'm not copying any existing policy. Okay, so I'm attaching that existing policy. So EC2 access. So here I'm giving EC2 full access. Next, review and launch. Added. So now this user have the permission to access EC2 instance. It means the Ravi, that this user having a permission to create, delete, manage the AWS instance. Okay, so I have been provided the EC2 full access. Now come to the Ravi account. Here you can see that Ravi. Okay, just refresh it. And check whether he able to access or not. I have to reload. I have to relog in 1 second.
I think you created Ravi in global region.
No, yeah, it's a because whatever the IAM user you are creating in this, no, it is a global only. Okay. So I have already added Amazon EC2 container registry full access. Okay. I am not able to access. Permission boundary nodes user Ravi. Be online, please. So if I'll give full access, next review, manage policy administrator access. Okay, so it has been added. Come to the user Ravi. Yeah. Okay, so it may I have made mistakes some, so that's the reason it's not showing. So I have been relogging with the Ravi. Okay, and here you can see that all three stopped instances showing as a root account. Here you can see that this is the Ravi user. Okay, and if you go to the main account and check EC2 instance. Okay, so here the EC2 instance in Iftikhar Ahmed, it's showing three. Okay. So by like this, you can provide a access to the user. Okay, so whatever the permission you want to give to the user, okay, so you can be able to access. Okay, so I have been created user and I have been provided access also. Now just detach this permission to user. Okay, now what I am doing, I am just creating one group and adding this user to that group. Okay, so create one group, click on groups and then create new group. Okay, and this just put it name developers. Next step. Okay, so now I am giving this developers to S3 full access. S3 Amazon S3. Okay, here you can see that S3 full access, or is you can give a S3 read access also, but here I am giving that S3 full access. Then whatever the user reside in this group, he that user can be able to access the S3 buckets that can be if a user want to create a new S3 bucket. S3 is a storage. Okay, so that can that user able to made any type of changes in S3 buckets. Okay, so just I have been created one developers group and provided one S3 access. Okay, so now I'm just adding user in this group. Here when you create on groups, it's showing user, there is no user, it's showing, and in permission section you can see that Amazon S3 full access permission. So here I'm just adding user, add user in a group, Mr. Ravi. Okay, I have created one user only, so that's the reason only one user is showing. So Ravi has been added in developers group. Okay, now if you check users Ravi, okay, and check permission, then you can see that S3 full access, because whatever the permission that group having, that inherit that user. If you adding any user in that group, then it will be automatically reflect, and that user able to access, okay, whatever the permission group having. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I'm just refreshing this. Okay, now here you can see that there is no EC2 instance showing. Why? Because that I have made changes and I have been added this Ravi user into the group, and that group having only S3 bucket access. Okay, so that is the main reason. When you go to S3, here you can here that Ravi user can view how many buckets are inside, and if that user Ravi want to create any bucket, then he that user can be able to create. Okay, so I believe you have been understand. Okay, so I have been created user groups. Okay, and now create roles. Okay, so I already defined roles. I'm just creating okay, for better understanding what I am doing, I'm just enabling this instant start. Right now it's a stop condition. Let me start. It's in initializing. Okay, so it will take some time. Let me take remote of this server.
Small question. Without group, you can add the policies access or not?
Yes, yes, I can. For the better understanding, I'm just enabling one instance. Because I think one of the students a little bit confused about the role. Still it's initializing. Okay, so now come here. Okay, and create one role. Okay, so I'm creating one role for accessing of S3 bucket. Okay, so here you can see that I have created bucket, sorry, roles for the different type of like auto start, stop instances. Okay, and other things. Okay, so let me create one role. Okay, choose EC2 instance. Okay, so what this role do? Whatever it will do action on behalf of me. It means it will allocate the resource. Okay, one second. Next. So I am just providing S3 access. S3 full access to this role. Next tag. Okay, no need to put any name, and just put it that role name. That role name is type full access S3. Okay, create. Here you can see that that role has been created. Okay, full S3 access. Okay, once again. So now come to the, come here. Okay, and see the instance. Okay, right now here you can see that in IAM role there is no role attached to this EC2 instance. Okay, so later I'll show you after attaching this role what modification has been done, what kind of possibilities. Why it's not okay. I need to change that user because this is CentOS. CentOS. Okay, sudo so AWS ls s3. I believe this command is only no. S3. 1 second. AWS. Three. No, for the okay. Give me a moment, please. One second. Okay, so when you type AWS S3, are you able to see that my screen? Okay, so when you typing this AWS S3 LS, okay, then it's giving the error message. It's giving the message you have to configure AWS CLI, then only you can be able to access S3 buckets. Okay, but when you configure this instance, okay, so and deploy your application, and your application required S3 bucket also access also, because that application required to recite some data into that S3 bucket. So in that case, what we need to do, we just create a one role, okay, and attach that role to that instance. That once you attach that role to particular instance, after that that instance able to access that S3 bucket. So now if I am typing AWS, it means this is a command, and S3 is S3 bucket, LS is listing, for listing purpose. I'm just try to list how many buckets are available in AWS console which I have been created. It's giving this error message. Okay, once I'll assign this role, okay, so this is our instance, there is no role I have been yet assigned. Okay, so now for assigning the role, we will okay, instance setting and attach or replace IAM role. Now click on roles. Okay, so here are multiple roles which I have been created. Okay, so that new role which I have created right now, that full access S3. Okay, now click on apply and close. Okay, now here you can see that one role has been added, that IAM role is full S3 access. Okay, and now if you are typing AWS S3 LS, okay, an error occurred, invalid key ID when you calling listening. Okay, sudo AWS S3 CLI. In error occurred, invalid access key. It's asking to configure access key when calling the listing bucket operation. The AWS access key ID you provide does not exist. Okay, it's asking for the configure CLI mode also. We will cover this part in EC2 instance. Okay, so because for creating instance through the CLI, we need to configure CLI mode onto instance. So here you can only understand by using like this, you can attach any role to the instance. Okay, and that will be, if you want to verify whether that role has been attached or not, then you can simply see here. Okay, and I'll check because the why it's not working, because if you type AWS S3 LS, then it may it's able to access the S3 bucket. Okay, it may some error is there. Okay, so later we will check also. Oh, it's giving the same error. Okay, so better to leave this part. Okay, So I'll cover this in EC2 section. Now come to the IAM role, because if you go with this AWS CLI, then the part will be not covered. Okay, so now come to the policy. So like that, you can able to create a roles as per your requirement. And now come to the policy. So here you can see that when you click on that policy, there are multiple policies are showing here. Okay, and let me show you. There are 646. Okay, the policies are available right now, and it's maintained by the AWS only. Okay, AWS. Here you can see that the yellow box. Okay, it means that that is created by the AWS and it's maintained by the AWS only. So instead of this, if you want to create your own policy, okay, so then you can create a customized policy. Okay, so let me create one customized policy that you can easily understand. Okay, so create customized policy. Create policy, choose a source. Here I'm just filtering EC2. Okay, I have been selected EC2. Okay, and here it's showing what kind of permission you want to give this policy. Okay, so I am just giving that list and read. Okay, so if I assign this policy to any user, then the user can be able to read the instance, each EC2 instance, and how many instances are available in that account. That only that user able to view. Okay, so he cannot able to made any changes. Okay, so I'm just creating customized email policy, and after that, yeah, I'll assign this policy to user Ravi. Okay, so create here. Okay, here you can see that that called resource, a specific or all resource. If specific, it means if you have a multiple EC2 instance, okay, and you want to restruct one instance, okay, one server, that in that case you have to choose a specific, and that for that you have to give a Amazon resource number. Okay, which I have already told you. Okay, so here I'm selecting for all resource. Okay, whatever the EC2 instance, this policy will apply for the all, not for particular instance. Okay, so now you have to give a policy name. So here I am giving the demo policy. Okay, here you can add description. This policy is used to list and view the EC2. Okay, so this policy is used to list here you can see that list and view the EC2 instances only. Okay, now click on create policy. Okay, so now you have to filter, because by default it's selected the AWS managed policy. When you click on customer policy, then in customer section it will show you that demo policy which I have been created right now, and here the description. Okay, so now what I am doing, I am just assigning this policy to user Ravi. Okay, so for the time being I'm just removing this user from the group developers. Okay, remove user from the group. Okay, so now no user is added in this particular group, and check Ravi having any permission or not. So now Ravi doesn't having any permission. Okay, now do one thing, just log out from here also, and again we will sign in. Okay, so now add permission. I'm just want to put custom permission. So demo policy which I have been created. Next review. and add permissions. Done. That Ravi having this type this policy. Okay, so now login into the console. Okay, put it the name, Ravi, put it password, sign in. Okay. Okay, so now here you can see that okay the instance, because what permission that Ravi have inherit now, he can that user can able to list the EC2 instance and read the instance. If Ravi want to make any changes, suppose one instance is in a stop condition, okay, and by using Ravi user, if we want to enable, 1 second, it means a start, then just check it whether it's working or not. Yes, let's start. It's showing that error message. Okay, why? Because that Ravi haven't permission to made any changes. Okay, so these like this you can manage a custom policy also. Okay, got the point? Any doubt? So we have been created group, user, roles, and policy. Okay, now come to the manage policy. Okay, so by using this you can manage policy. Okay, what here you can click on that change password policy. Okay, so here the by default is selected 6 characters. If you want to change in 8 characters, then it will be 8 characters, and here you can able to choose require at least one uppercase letter from Latin alphabet. If you select this option, then if you creating user and putting that custom password or whatever the password, then it's required 8 characters including one alphabet letter. Okay, and if you selecting this option, then one lowercase letter is required. If you choosing required at least one number, it means 0 to 9 you have to put one number also. If you are selecting this option, then you have to add at least wildcard. It means at the rate dollar hash symbol you have to put in your password if you are selecting this. Okay, enable password expiration. If you are choosing this, then you can set at after how many time how many days that password will be gonna expire. Okay, and if you are choosing by default it's showing that 90 days. Okay, you can make changes. Okay, password expiration required administrator reset. Okay, so but if you choosing this, it means whenever the password gonna expire, then you can able to only that root user only able to reset the password. Okay, and if you select this one, then it will allow to select it means that owner is also able to reset their password. Okay, prevent password rescue. Okay, it means if here the by default is 5 times, if that user putting that wrong password 5 times, then it will be got stuck. Okay, so these are the password policy. So right now I have been made changes that 6 to 8 characters. Okay, and required one alphabet okay, uppercase later. So now I have made changes in policy. Okay, now do one thing, just save changes. Okay, and again create one user, add user, name is demo. Okay, and here I'm giving that AWS console access only. Okay, okay, it's auto generate password, not I'm just custom putting. If I am putting 6 character password, okay, it's showing that error message. Here I have been putted that number. Okay, so it's showing that error message. Why? Because it will accept 8 character. If I put caps 1A and put it, then the error will be gone. Here you can see that 8 character required, including alphabet. Okay, so like this you can manage your own password policy also. Okay, let me cancel this. Okay, so in this section, so now the main thing we have to configure MFA for the Ruby, multi-factor authentication. Okay, so do you have any idea about the MFA, you guys? Can you confirm me, please?
No.
Yes.
No. Okay, don't have any
Satish
idea.
and-
Yeah, Satish having the idea. Okay, so actually for the configuration of MFA, you have to install on your phone one application. Okay, whether if you have iPhone, then you just go to the iTunes store, iPhone store, and if you have Android phone, then just go to the Android Play Store and download Google Authenticator. Google Authenticator software application in your mobile phone. Okay, and open your accounts and configure MFA in your account. Okay, here I am assigning MFA. Okay, so here you can see that I'm just putting MFA for the Ravi user. Okay, so whenever you let me log out from the Ravi here. Okay, I'm just logging out. Before adding the MFA, it's required to put only the ID, set ID, name and password. Okay, and once I put the it means enable MFA, then one code also required from my phone. Okay, so just install the Google Authenticator on your phone. Okay, here I am just managing. Okay, so when you click on MFA, okay, that virtual MFA, U2F security key, other hardware MFA device. Okay, so for every better practice, we have to choose virtual MFA. It is a virtual available, and no need to worry about if your phone is damaged or stolen or something else. You can reset this MFA also. Okay, and you can take a support from the AWS team also. They can also able to reset this. Okay, so no need to worry about this. Okay, so once you create on virtual MFA, it creates some QR code, show QR code. Okay, what you need to do, you have to scan this code. Okay, so let me scan. I have a Google Authenticator. Add. Okay, so service Ravi. So MFA code is showing 931807. Okay, once here it is a 76 for my Ravi user 5339. Okay, now assign MFA. Done. Close. Okay, now here you can see that the status has been changed to Ravi. Ravi have enabled that MFA. Now what I'm refresh. Let me refresh this page. Okay. So put the name Ravi and password 123456 and click on sign in. Then it's asked for the MFA, and that MFA code will reflect on your Google Authenticator application. Okay, so it is 485547. No, okay, 33338916. Okay, so got the point how to configure and how to authenticate your AWS account with the different it means virtual device. Okay, Have you configured that MFA from your in your account, root account? Can you confirm anyone, please?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't, okay. So that last topic is left, that cross account. If you want to switch one account to another, then how? What is the process? Okay. So if you want to switch one account to another, for that you have to create one role. Okay, in destination, suppose you are logged in, suppose I am a root user for Iftikhar Ahmed. It means, and I want to see that Ravi having a separate AWS account. Okay, not this IAM user, separate account. Okay, so Ravi want to see also want to see all the resource or few of the resource in Iftikhar Ahmed, what he is using and what he is doing. Then what I need to do in destination, it means in Iftikhar. Okay, in destination, it means source is Ravi, destination is Iftikhar. In destination account, we have to create one role. Okay, so when you create role, okay, here it's showing that another AWS account. Okay, so when you click here, it will ask you 12-digit ID. Okay, if you, it means that account ID. So whatever the ID, I have a 1 second. Suppose you are putting this ID. Log out from here. Sign out. 177. Okay, so randomly I have put it this number. Okay, so when you put this number, okay, it asks you the optional. It is a optional. If you want to configure the MFA, then you can also able to configure that MFA. Then you have to click on next permission. Okay, okay, and what type of access you want to give to the that Ravi? Okay, that is a main source account. So you have to select that permission. Here I'm selecting further like administrator access. Okay, and please next. Okay, then you have to put next name, and you have to put a name and then create a role. Like this you can create. I'll share you one doc. Okay, because I don't have two accounts, so that's the reason. So you can see that. Okay, create a role in destination account. Okay, whatever the name and choose the another AWS account as I chosen. Here you can see that this is the destination account. You have to choose create role, then another AWS account. Here you can see that it's showing that another AWS account. You have to select that option. After that you have to put 12-digit account number. Okay, after that assign a role, or it means that policy, what kind of services this role can be able to access. You have to put that policy. After that you have to create a role. Once you create a role, then come back to the source account and add a user and group. Okay, and just use after using adding user and group, uh, once again, okay, you have to assign this role like that. Like this you can uh, able to access, switch one user to another user. Got the point? So this is the complete today's session about IAM. So now that identity access management has been finished. Is today only. Hello, can you acknowledge me?
Can you go to IAM console once?
IAM console one. Yeah, I am here. I am once again, please. Yeah, tell me. This is the IAM console Dashboard. Let me go to the dashboard. Okay, here I am.
What is identity providers?
Identity provider is different thing. If you go through with the other things, there are multiple. Actually, here you can see that there are multiple things are added. No one knows everything. Okay, according to your uses. Okay, you can you go through with that resource. Okay, so no need to learn everything. Okay, so as per your requirement, I'm just teaching you. Okay, so that identity provider, it may something else. Okay, so later I'll tell you. Anything else? Anyone have any doubt?
That's it from my end. If anyone has any doubt,
No.
you can ask.
No. So can I wrap up for the day?
Good.
Okay, so that identity access management completely here is completed. In next class, I'll start with the EC2 instance or other topic like Route 53, whatever. So tomorrow we will again meet. Okay, thank you for the day. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Stay
Okay.
safe.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.